Yeah, that's probably what happened. I bet she got hit at the bridge and then they threw her overboard. Let's examine the scene. Well, there's swerve marks. That definitely happened. What's this?
Long skid marks and signs of a collision. What do these tell us?
This place has a lot of traffic. Well, you can definitely see a car accident of some sort.
Yes, it's apparent that a car accident happened here.
What's that green thing?
This piece of stone is in natural shape. Somebody had to work on this.
Wait, that's been here for like a month? Really? That's interesting. But then again, we're still kind of iffy on how she died.
I feel like I've seen something similar recently.
I think you might in fact be correct. Okay, so that's all we got? Okay. Yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot more. Honestly, I'm surprised there was this much forensics evidence here. It just seems highly likely that there's not going to be a whole lot going on. And we can match the stone.
That's correct. The two shards fit perfectly. That clears something up for us now, and that is...
Let's see... The victim was on the bridge. We can say that at the very least. If nothing else.
Yes. The victim was on the bridge where the accident occurred. There's no conclusive evidence of how she died yet, but this may be a clue.
I'm sure it would be, otherwise we wouldn't spend time talking about it. Let's see, anything else of note? We had signs of a car accident. That would match with the run over thing, or maybe not. Would it have something to do with the weird bones? Oh, I'm gonna have to start putting things together again, aren't I?
There's evidence of having been in a car accident on the victim's body and clothing.
Darn it. Accidentally skipped forward text again.
That evidence is...
Well, she's got the fractures and tire marks. Seems pretty likely there. Dead. Dead.
Yes, that's right. Taking these two facts into account, it's quite likely that the victim was in an accident at that place.
Seems about right. Really? That seems like it should go together. Does the fractured finger go with that? No. I don't know if there's much more we can get from that. Okay, that was my last idea. Let's exit and see if there's anything else. No, I think we're supposed to figure out something else.
Little guy, does this information tell us anything?
That was it. I spent a good while matching things. I didn't think that I needed to actually bring that up to him.
Give me a moment. Let's see here. Blue paint thought to have come from a vehicle was found on the area of the collision along the guardrail.
Okay, so maybe look for blue paint of some sort?
What kind of vehicle it's from, but that could take some time.
So this means that a blue vehicle ran into the guardrail here. Any other details?
Well, we can use the skid marks to determine how many tires the vehicle had. It seems this vehicle had two wheels on the front axle. Behind that, there were two more axles, both with two tires on each side.
So this is a pretty heavy-duty vehicle, then.
10 tires total. Judging from the number and positions of the tires, it must be...
a large truck of some sort, I think. Okay, so we're assuming it's a blue truck, assuming that this guardrail has never ever been scraped by any car before, except for this one blue one.
Yes. The pairs of tires are for dispersing the weight of the load it's carrying. Thus, this vehicle is designed for transporting heavy shipments.
Which would make sense why I managed to break through her leg then.
I see. I'll get in touch
If
with
that was in
investigators
fact the
about
vehicle
this.
that did that.
Please do. Hopefully they can use this to find other things.
Okay, blue truck. The accident should be the same time as when the victim died.
There's no doubt that the victim had been run over in this case. If the victim had been killed in this accident, how long ago did the accident take place?
What? We're saying 1 month ago, right? That's not it, is it? Oh, that's it? Okay. Didn't we already say it happened a month ago?
Right. The victim died about a month ago.
Okay, that was nerve-wracking. They had a lot of spaces. I was like, whoa, how many months is that?
If the victim did die from the accident itself would have taken place a month ago as well.
Dr. Kimishima, we've identified who the body was.
Great. Was there a hit in the dental records?
That's right. The victim here is Veronica Cage. She was 23 years old. It seems she was living with her parents 8 kilometers from where the accident took place.
I see. We're making progress. Has the family been notified?
Yes, that's been done. There was something odd about it, though.
Huh, what's that?
The parents hadn't submitted a missing persons report, though their daughter had been gone for a month.
That is something we should probably be investigating then.
You must have had a happy childhood, little guy. Every family has its own problems.
Yeah, but that's still something to keep in mind, I would imagine.
We questioned them just in case. The interviews were recorded.
We didn't even know she was
If you need to
gone.
listen to them, check the voice recorder.
I mean, that might be
All
the
right.
case,
Anything
honestly.
else?
If she was out so often, then maybe they wouldn't have even noticed,
one more
but
thing.
still.
About the man who discovered the body. Like you thought, it looks like he tampered with the crime scene. We interrogated him again, and he's currently being detained. You can use the recorder to listen to that interview as well.
Thank you.
All right. I want to know what he'd been doing there.
Okay, so we figured out who the victim was at least. And let's listen to some more voice recording here. So we've got father, mother. She looks distressed. They both look distressed. Let's listen to him first. What did you do? What'd you do, punk?
I mean,
Yeah. He's surprisingly honest. Then again, what he did can't really be forgiven.
I was, just looking around, for anything I might be able to sell.
Yeah, I figured. He's incomprehensible. Can't he tell what belongs to him and what doesn't?
And, then, we found that woman's, his bones near the riverbed.
So he approached the corpse.
Sam was leading the way, and we found that dead body.
If what he found was a skeleton, how could he know the sex of the corpse? Probably due to the clothing?
Well, hell, I saw the underwear. I mean, it's not that hard to tell the difference.
I get it. If he saw her personal effects, he'd be able to figure out her gender. Makes sense. That's what I thought as well.
The necklace was cracked, so I took the earring.
Such a petty thing to do.
I looked around for a while, but I only found one of them.
That might actually be important for us.
Who's gonna buy one earring? I can't even sell it. Yeah, you can have it. It's worthless junk.
What a coward. I see. I understand now.
Still, if we can match this with another earring that we might find later on in this case randomly, that could be really helpful.
He claimed that he hadn't seen the corpse to hide the fact that he stole one of her earrings.
Corpse robbing.
This man deserves a severe punishment. I should tell the little guy about it.
Is that all we're getting from that? Apparently so. Okay. Let's listen to the father's testimony.
I hate to say this when I know you're doing your best to help. But I've always known that something like this would happen to her one day.
Oh, is she a bad girl?
Yes, we expected it. That's why we didn't request a search or post a reward. I mean, sometimes a machine's just too broken to be repaired. Isn't that right?
Oh, that's kind of dark.
What, this injury? I fell down while taking a walk.
Oh, did you? Did you? That sounds suspicious.
Embarrassing. Getting old is misery. Anyway, we'd like to go home as soon as we can. My wife isn't in the best of health.
It definitely sounds like genuine concern for his wife.
I have a bad back, too. It hurts more and more the longer I sit here.
You talk less about your daughter and more about your personal problems during this. Sometimes the heart's pain spreads throughout the body. Not much from that. What about her? Do you have anything to say?
Yes, I'm all right. I suppose that I'd been expecting this to happen one day.
Now see, they both said that. I'm kind of curious about that. Does that mean she's like a bad girl, or was she getting into trouble a lot?
My daughter, she was a kind girl, but ever since she dropped out of high school,
Dropped out of high school. I see.
well, she lost most of her friends and was practically alone in the world. At some point, she started going out almost every night.
So we probably need to figure out where she was going, I bet.
Sometimes she didn't come home for an entire month. We thought that's what happened this time, too.
But it wasn't that, was it?
Oh, this? I slipped on the stairs. Oh, this? Yes, my husband and I are both getting rather old.
It
You
seems
know-
that the victim's relationship with her family wasn't going well.
Maybe they both just did happen to get injured. But how exciting would that be if it had nothing to do with the case? Not very exciting. So let's suppose instead that they're the murderers. They're just getting sick and tired of her.
Dropping out of high school, going out every night. Sounds like a typical delinquent.
That's not the best way to describe it, but I can't say she was well behaved.
Yeah, did the parents' testimonies tell you anything else?
There's something that bothered me more than just what they said.
Just their
What caught my
injuries.
attention about the father was...
Oh, he's got a bruise on his face.
It wasn't major, but there was some injury to his face. And in the mother's testimony, my attention was caught by...
She's also got a bruise on her face.
Yes, she had some signs of severe bruising as well.
I didn't actually notice that initially.
They both said that they'd gotten hurt by falling down.
Huh, you're not paying attention. Take a closer look at both of them. They both have multiple injuries, but each injury is in a different state of healing. This means that...
They're always falling down, have accelerated healing factors. Were hurt repeatedly? Possibly? You couldn't say that they were in a car accident just from that.
Right. How many people do you know who fall down several times a week?
I see. You have a point there. Then why were these two...
Okay, here's an idea. It seems a little iffy, but just hear me out for a moment. What if she was actually attacking them? Some sort of like domestic abuse, and over time they just got sick of it, and they decided to get rid of her.
I don't know yet,
Just like she said, I don't know yet, but it's an idea.
but they must have a reason for hiding the cause of their injuries.
Okay. Alright, so what can we do? They've got some sort of injuries.
Huh, yes, these two facts do tell us something.
Well, maybe we'll come back on that later.
It's more than that the person who had found the corpse stole something. There's one more important fact involved with this case, and that is...
She was totally styling. She's missing an earring. I'm sure we can do something with that. If we could find this
yes,
earring.
only one of the victim's earrings was at the scene.
maybe we could find where she was before she got taken there or floated down the river or whatever.
Either it came off somewhere, or she was only wearing one all along. Where could the other earring have gone?
Okay, he's gonna contact local hospitals. It's probably something important to look into. Did we ever look into that? No, we didn't yet. Oh yeah, because we already did. Now I remember. Might be able to find records of it. Records of the time of the accident. How about that? Darn it! Now I'm back to matching random stuff. Victim's 23.
Right.
There we go.
Since we now know who she is, this information should be consolidated.
Victim
23
events.
years old. She must never have imagined that she would die so young. I don't sympathize with you, but I'll do my best. For your sake.
Okay. We know now that the victim was in an auto accident. Should analyze the corpse once more. Sure, let's go take a look at it. What do you mean there's nothing more you can gain from looking at the body? You just said I should analyze the corpse. You silly, silly game. I thought some of those holes on her clothes were important, but apparently they weren't. There we go. You want to know more about the remains? I'll have them analyzed and get back to you. I'd like you to get that done as soon as possible. Okay, what about the earring? Is there anything else you can analyze? Because I'm more or less... There we go, the fraction of the little finger. Suppose you're right. Oh, yeah, we already had that looked at. What about... the bloodstains? No, come on. Is there anything else? What else can I do at this point? Do I have to back out? Yep.
Dr. Kimishima, we've identified the vehicle from the accident.
That's the only thing I find a little bit annoying is you never quite get told when you're supposed to stop looking at things sometimes, and I get that. It's supposed to be somewhat of a more organic experience by not... You don't know when you're out of things to look at sometimes. But sometimes I feel like I'm doing something wrong, and what I'm supposed to do next is simply leave the computer. So it's a little frustrating at times, though I'm not sure if there would be a decent way to fix it without kind of ruining the experience they were trying to create.
Good. That's rather quick. For you guys.
Hey, come on. We're a national government agency. We'll have the recording from the driver's interview later. He pretty much admits to what we suspected had happened. So, case closed?
Easy there. It's too early to relax yet.
He admits to an accident, or he admits to murdering somebody? What?
What do you mean? I mean, the culprits.
Do you think that just catching the truck driver will solve this case?
Doesn't it?
A 23-year-old woman was walking alone in the mountains 8 kilometers from home. You think she was just walking the dog?
You're right.
Okay, that does sound odd. So the investigation's not over yet.
So the next course of action is to figure out why she's here.
Indeed. Go look into the parents' hospital records. From the size of those bruises, they would have needed to be treated at a hospital.
Got it. What will you be doing, Dr. Kimishima?
I'm going to investigate the victim's house. Keep the parents in custody until I'm done.
Right. I'll tell the ones in charge right now.
Do I have a warrant for this? Okay. Due to witness testimony, the card time of accident has been removed. Okay. Interesting. So let's go check out the room. Apparently, I guess we have a warrant for this. I'd hope so, otherwise we need to get out of here fast. I do like the diagnostics and forensics music. They're very calming, especially considering that you're going to be listening to them for like an hour or to 2 hours. They're very calming, and I do like that. Alright, let's investigate. We have a broken something down
These pieces
here.
of glass seem to have come from a mirror. Let's see.
I was wondering why that mirror was covered
The
up.
mirror on the dresser's been broken. I wonder what happened to it.
And why is the glass over there?
A reaction to the luminol.
Perhaps the I'm still going with my idea that the parents are attacking her. Perhaps the parents smashed her face into the mirror?
It seems there's something here that isn't part of the broken mirror. This. It's the same earring that the man who had found the body had stolen. But
Interesting.
what would this be doing here?
They probably fell off in some sort of fight. It's made of mirror glass. It's from the mirror universe.
Indeed. All the shattered glass was neatly placed in one area. That means that someone had cleaned up the glass shards. They must have swept up the earring along with the glass. If that's the case, was the earring with the glass pieces when the mirror was broken? In any case, since it reacted with the spray, there must be blood on this earring. I'll need to have the little guy analyze it and see if it tells us anything.
Yeah, someone bled on this. Can confirm. Anything of interest up here? Let's just spray everything in a room with luminol. Why don't we? I have a feeling the mirror probably has something on it. What's that?
It's an ordinary package of breath mints. You can get them anywhere. Still.
But they're bloody breath mints. Let's open it. Why not?
Just as I thought. These aren't mints in here.
Some sort of medication.
These markings seem to indicate that this medication was produced for a pharmacy. I might be able to ask the little guy to find out just what it is.
It should be easy enough. Wait, that's it? Really? Are you sure about that? Nothing on the mirror either. We haven't even hardly investigated the room. Are you sure that's everything? Sometimes the game doesn't tell me enough information, and sometimes it tells me it's time to go. I'm glad they did, otherwise I would spend the next 10 minutes searching that room. So, I do appreciate that at least.
Dr. Kimishima, we've received the interview with the truck driver from the accident.
Huh, alright. How did he seem?
It's easy to sympathize with him. Sounds like a case of wrong time, wrong place.
I see. Alright, I'll check the recorder.
Please do. I'll transfer it over to you.
I need to pay careful attention to his account of what happened before and after the accident. What Veronica was doing prior to being hit, and what the driver did afterwards. That's what I should be sure to listen for.
Now, it's a little bit curious. So, I was assuming that the person who had the accident was the same person that killed her, which, you know, we don't necessarily know if that's incorrect yet, but it seems less likely now. Though then again, you know, I have been somewhat surprised before. But based upon what I think's gonna happen, it seems like her dying in this accident weren't exactly the same event. Possibly. Let's take a listen and see what he has to say. Man arrested on hit and run charges. Okay, I see. See, I was kind of curious, like, why he didn't say anything. So he did actually hit her.
What do you want? I didn't do anything.
What do you mean you didn't do anything? You had a hit and run.
I don't know. A woman. That woman. It's not my fault.
And why is it not your fault? He's probably terrified because he killed her.
I was supposed to drive a shipment to a nearby town. Damn it, they forced me to do it.
Oh, who's they? Are we talking about the parents?
Why the hell would someone be sleeping in the middle of a mountain road at midnight anyway?
Sleeping in the middle of the road? Did they drug her and leave her in the middle of the road to perhaps cause an accident to draw suspicion away from herself?
It's not my fault. I turned a corner and she was lying on the bridge.
She was sleeping on the bridge? This seems a little odd.
That seems extremely odd. That sounds probably like what those drugs might have been for. We need to figure out what those drugs
If
are.
this man was telling the truth, then the victim had already collapsed there from the start.
Now, of course, can we believe him? I don't know.
Doesn't seem like he was lying, but
Yeah, I don't quite get the vibe he was lying like the other
what
guy.
in the world does this mean?
And what about the rest of that? He had another part of the testimony to listen to. What'd you do afterwards?
Damn it.
You gotta skip forward a bit.
I slammed on the brakes, but I wasn't fast enough, and I ran her over.
Well, yeah, we know
Out
that.
of the truck to see, and she wasn't breathing.
You definitely killed her.
I got out of the truck. I panicked, and I threw her
you-
off the bridge.
You
The
panicked.
victim's body
You
over the
panicked and
bridge.
you threw her off the bridge. What a scumbag. But I guess I could understand that level of fear.
This means that the victim wasn't knocked off the bridge by being struck by a vehicle.
I can see why he panicked enough to do that. It's just that was a bad decision, guy. That was a bad
Hey,
decision.
little guy, I need you to analyze this medication.
Yes, of course. Did you find it in the victim's room?
That's right. It looks like it's prescribed medication. But what is it?
Who knows? It's definitely no common over-the-counter drug. I'd suspect that this would have to be prescribed by a doctor before someone can buy it.
Well, if it has to be prescribed, then it'd be pretty... Well, maybe not 100%, but it'd be fairly likely we could figure out who prescribed it
I
then.
see, that makes sense. This could mean
Especially
that the
if
victim
it's not
had
a
attended
common one.
hospital. Was the victim suffering from some kind of injury or disease? If our analysis continues, we may find something out.
We can match the earrings, I'm sure. Or not. Of course, that makes sense. So the driver ran over the victim and threw her body off the bridge. Can we match that? Can we match that with anything? We can put these together at least, right?
Yes, both these facts relate to the victim. If I were to sum up the driver's account prior to the accident, the victim was...
The victim was lying on the road, yeah.
Right. The victim had already been collapsed on the road. And after he ran her over, the driver...
Chucked her off the bridge. Yeah, he didn't contact the police.
Yes. He threw the victim over the bridge. Little guy, what's the FBI's opinion about this?
He's already admitted to killing her. Why would he lie about that?
He did mention something about they made me do it. Who's they?
His account coincides with the evidence I had found as well.
Huh? What evidence?
Well, if she had been standing when she was hit by the truck, the fractures to her bones would have indicated a strong impact from one certain direction. In this case, nothing of that sort was observed.
Oh, did her head and her legs get run over? Is that what happened? Oh, that's kind of...
I see. What about the shattered skull then?
It got
The
run
skull
over.
fractures are consistent with a strong impact to the top of the head. It would be unnatural for it to have been due to a car accident. Considering what happened to the victim, it can be deduced that something else caused that fracture. That is...
She's run over by the truck. No? Okay. She was thrown off the bridge. I guess that caused
If
it?
she was unconscious when she fell from the bridge, the fracture due to an impact to the top of the skull is understandable.
Okay. Okay, so she was unconscious. We're assuming, I guess, we don't really have super evidence on this, but that she was unconscious, and he threw her off the bridge, and that's what killed her.
I see. You're right, that does make more sense.
Yes, however, that raises questions about the victim herself. Why in the world was this woman so far from home?
And I think if we could figure that out, we'd probably have a good portion of this case
Why
done.
would she be lying in the middle of a bridge in the mountains at that time of night?
I think her parents obviously
That's a
aren't telling
valid
us
point.
enough stuff
I
here.
guess there are still some mysteries left unsolved here.
Indeed. We'll have to continue investigating in more detail.